Alright, a little bit of a fast start there. Under Resilience is built in a sibling rivalry. However, some lives involve encounters more profound and unsettling, more intense and generalized in the way that they necessitate resilient responses. My own need for buoyancy began in mountains both higher and less inclined terrain than those hereabouts. In my case, my grandfather's assassination by Pinochet operatives a few weeks prior to their murder of 10,000 or so of my fellow citizens at the behest of Henry Kissinger, the CIA, and the corporate quote-unquote mainstream in Chile, has colored my life an insistent shade of blood red. That this all happened 5 years prior to my birth is irrelevant. This coup, this murder, this outbursting of imperial imprimatur unhinged my father's life, or not that he was altogether a model of stability theretofore. It also crushed my mother's sense of safety. She has ever since clung to security above all else. And they had me as Pinochet's fascist control most completely throttled my native land. Of course, all manner of more mundane mayhem has also had a role in my struggles with life. My grandmother's exiting the world with a horrible cancer, literally as my mother's labor was bearing me forth, is one example. For years, really for decades, till my mid-20s, my response to this enforced uncertainty and unsettling tendency for upset to win out involved my developing arch and ironic sensibilities to the maximum degree, along with insisting that debauchery and drink might anesthetize my at once fierce and delicate psyche's simultaneous need for space and surcease. Were it not for art and a few turns of good luck, who knows how all of that would have panned out. No doubt my creative capacity, now duly professionalized and degreed, was the ultimate firewall through which self-destructive proclivities could not pass. My marriage helped, which is not always the case for works in progress, damaged goods, and any of the other metaphors that we apply to ourselves when we relate to others in spite of all that is imperfect and wounded in our souls. And somewhat miraculously, the more that reality piled on, a house foreclosed while the financiers cashed in insurance policies and sold for a third of the mortgage, crashing job prospects at every turn, while teeth rotted and finances imploded, a working-class Madison County hovel which succumbed to fire and smoke and cascading streams of chemical-laden water 2 days after my birthday, nearly watching my husband pitch into the abyss on an ice-slick road while I stood helplessly by. The more certain that I've become that my art, my words, and my capacity to contribute justify my existence and empower my purpose. Certainly, the mountains here have been part of that toughened spirit. My carousing self would never have orchestrated a successful Kickstarter campaign. My youthful fly-by-night shrug would never, ever have been subject to complex commissions for me to complete. My wine son bon vivant could never have collaborated with my wordsmith mate to manifest hundreds of pieces of iconic philosophy and romance and political commentary. Yet all this and more has characterized my spiritual journey towards creativity, a pathway that began in one mountain chain, beset by one sort of affliction, that has continued and matured in another massif, benighted in its own right and yet through all of its trials and tribulations, like me, durable and persistent and increasingly touched by the sublime and joyous timbre of the falling waters where life and Appalachia meet. Así que guaja!